What's going on, everybody? Welcome into Early Edge Live as we count down to perhaps the best Thursday night football game we've had the entire season. That's right. Week 8 kicks off tonight with the Ravens traveling down to Tampa to take on the struggling Bucs in a rubber meets the road kind of game. Now, if you are brand new to the show and you're in the chat, do me a favor. Hit that like button for me and then just talk as much as you want. If you have a prop that you're looking at that you're thinking, I just don't know, I've got the best cappers in the business getting ready to join us, and you can ask them, put the juice in there because that matters as well. We will do our best bets. We will do our props. We will do our goose tonight and also the gym if you want to be a part of the club. So far, 2 members of my crew are just kicking it, and pretty soon you'll know exactly who it is because he'll tell you over and over and over. Let's bring in the stars of the show because, on a Thursday night, I got to bring in my absolute rock star. So, first and foremost, live from parts unknown, he's the greatest props bettor in America today. Profitable every single week thus far. Prop stars, are you a little worried that your perfect streak is on the line this week?
Coach, I live for this type of spots. I want all the pressure, all the smoke. We're going into week 8. I couldn't be more excited. I got a prop tonight that I love. I've got my cousin Sia, who's my prop partner in crime, right alongside of me, and AB, who always is a pleasure to see as well. So I could not be more fired up to break down this matchup with you guys.
Well, you said his name. He is the best-looking man in all of the Early Edge universe. Ladies and gentlemen, please welcome Mr. Sia Najat. Sia, good evening, sir.
Good evening. I'm really excited about this game. I'm really excited about the prop show tomorrow with everybody here at 4 o'clock tomorrow Eastern Standard Time. But I'm also really excited to see if Tom Brady and the Bucs are done. This is the last sort of straw, right? We thought they were going to kill the Steelers. We thought they were going to kill the Carolina Panthers. Get right spot. Well, there's only so many get right spots you can have. This game's going to be really interesting tonight.
And we do have a little bit of differing opinions right here within the crew that we're going to discuss and maybe a showdown or 2. M Squared, if you're watching, get into the chat and get in there right now. Now, this man can do it all. He can be a talent. He can be a producer. He can do it at the same time. Live from Nashville, Tennessee, 8 floors below. AB, good evening, sir.
Good evening, sir. Good evening, props, and see ya, everybody in the Early Edge chat. Always a pleasure to be with you. You know what? We woke up in a great mood in the janitor's closet. That's right. We sleep in there, too. We live there. And you know what? This is going to be an awesome game. And look, you called it. Mikey in the chat right there, baby. Let's go.
Oh, he says, watching for about 7 minutes, and Sinful says, Mikey's ready for the smoke. Don't test my boy, coach. Oh, Saint, stepping up early. By the way, what's that thing you always say, AB? No pressure, no
diamonds, baby.
Which is exactly what I'm going to buy tonight with the showdown money that I'm going to get from Mikey and whoever else. So we start every single one of our live primetime shows giving you our best bets. So you have plenty of time to get them in and understand why we are playing them. Sia, you have a brand new prop. Nobody has it yet. So start us off first, please.
Yeah, so I'm going to go for Leonard Fournette over 27.5 receiving yards. I mean, the bottom line is no matter the game script, we're going to see Leonard Fournette get some dump offs. Now, if you look at Tom Brady's pass attempt prop, it's 38.5, and it's actually juiced to the over. Now, we know Brady likes to get the ball out of his hands really quick. I think a lot of those dump offs are going to go to Leonard Fournette. I think there's going to be some design pass plays for Leonard Fournette as well, but I do see him accruing this total over the series of the game. 2 things to remember here. The Baltimore Ravens aren't really good defending pass-catching running backs so far in this season. And also, even though Leonard Fournette had a very bad game, especially in the receiving department last week, the 4 weeks prior, he had 38, 83, 57, and 35 receiving yards in those games. No matter the positive, neutral, or negative game script, whichever this game plays to, I think Leonard Fournette is going to be involved in the passing game. So give me his over of 27.5 receiving yards.
And what would you play this up to, sir?
Probably 29.5.
Okay. All right. I got it at 28.5 about 10 minutes ago when I knew that you were on the play. So it's still in that vicinity that everybody can still play it. Now, I don't know if Glenn is being facetious. I don't know if I can't even say that word, or if he's being sarcastic, or if he's just asking a question that actually makes sense as I come to prop stars. The question Glenn has, Alex, is do you like Cade Otton tonight in this game?
Coach, I don't like Cade Otton. I love Cade Otton tonight. That's why we're taking him over 30.5 receiving yards. You can actually find us at 29.5 currently on DraftKings. I have been super, super encouraged by Cade Otton. Played 54 snaps on Sunday against the Panthers. He ran the second most routes of any tight end last week as well. He's been a starter for 2 games with Cam Brate on the shelf. This will be his 3rd game starting tonight. He's averaging 6 targets, 5 receptions, 53 receiving yards as a starter. This is also a great matchup against the Ravens. They're 24th in DVOA to the tight end position. They're somewhat of a tight end funnel as well. Looking at some tight end recent performances against Baltimore, Njoku went 7 catches for 71 yards last week. The week before that, another rookie tight end, Daniel Bellinger, 5 catches, 38 yards. Prior to that, Hayden Hurst, 6 catches, 53 yards. Dawson Knox, 3 for 40. Johnny Smith, 4 for 25. Mike Gesicki even went 4 for 41. I have watched Cade Otton very, very closely recently. If you recall, he was one of my plays last week, and this kid just looks very good. He's a really natural route runner, very fluid, just gets open a ton. He actually wasn't targeted in the first half last week, exploded in the second half, but he was running all over the field open. I have to imagine that when they went back, looked at the game tape from last week, that they saw Cade Otton was getting open a lot. It wouldn't surprise me to see him get an uptick in targets tonight. Furthermore, also very helpful, Russell Gage is inactive tonight. He gets a lot of those Brady checkdowns as well. We also saw Godwin just peppered with targets, 13 targets last week. He turned that into only 47 receiving yards. Meanwhile, Cade Otton had 5 and eclipsed that line with just 5 targets. So I'm incredibly bullish on this kid. He looks great. In my opinion, he could be the 3rd most targeted player in what is one of the highest passing volume offenses in the league. I think he's just an auto play under 35 yards. Love me some Cade Otton. I'd play this one up to 34.5.
For those of you who are brand new to the show, and there's always new people coming and checking us out, and then they stay. When Prop Stars gets excited, when he looks you in the eye like that, he loves that play. Loves it. Now, a lot of good questions in the chat. We'll get to them. We have a couple of more best bets to get to, though. Now, I'm playing one today. I said 2 weeks ago, and I'm nothing if I'm not a man of my word. I said every game moving forward, I'm playing Daniel Jones for the Giants, his rushing number, and Lamar Jackson. So tonight, the only way the Ravens play well is when he runs, and they're going to play well tonight. So I love him at over 61 rush yards, at 61.5 some places, 62. But I love it. I would play it up to probably 63, 64. It's a little high, I understand, but he's going to run wild tonight. Plus, the Bucs just won't have the ball a lot because they're going to go 3 and out, 3 and out, 3 and out. You don't flip a switch. When you're old, and you're old. So I love Lamar Jackson. Now, AB, our quarterback field goal kicker whisperer, you're feeling strong tonight with the plays that you have. The floor is yours, sir.
Thank you, sir. Yep, feeling very strong. And I'll tell you what, first off, we are going to start with the no-fly zone. Both of them. Lamar Jackson. He's putting one in the air tonight because I believe that he is going to be pressing offensively. Tom Brady, now he only has, 1 interception on the season, but he's throwing to literally you and me tonight, Coach. He has no one out there that he's going to be throwing to other than Leonard Fournette. So see ya. Good job on that one. I like that play. But Tom Brady's going to be forced. I know he's getting the ball quickly out of his hands, as Props has mentioned, because he doesn't trust the offensive line. Well, you know what? You can only do that for so long. The Ravens are going to get after him and force him to put the ball a little bit deeper. They've got 8 picks on the season this year. So the no-fly zone is open on both guys. Now,
AB, I'm sorry. I got to interrupt you because now you got Maestro's face right behind you on the TV.
Do we? Hold on.
Yeah, there's the man.
That's amazing.
That's amazing. If he wanted to be on the show, all he had to do was ask. All he had to do was ask.
I'll tell you what. Look, we're going to go with this crazy inverted view right here to keep the Maestro on here because it's good luck. We're going with Justin Tucker over 1.5 field goals. We're going Ryan Succop over 1.5 field goals. Both of these guys, obviously, very good kickers. Tucker might be the best of all time. Look at Emery looking good, too. All right, so here's the thing. Both of these teams have to win this game, and they have to press the entire time. They cannot let up. We've seen the Ravens. They have given up wins over and over and over. And I think Harbaugh has figured it out that when you have a kicker as good as Tucker and you only have to play 60 yards on the field, It tends to work out for you. Use him. On the other side, all right, the Bucs went buffoonery circus last week, not using Succop early to get points on the field. All right, there we go. We got enough of those guys. They could not put points on the board using Succop, so they sat at 0, 0, 0. They finally used them, got to 3. It was it. I think that they get to them early, so we're going to go both quarterback interceptions, both kickers over 1 out of field goals. Now, let me take this down, and let me say this. If you don't like that strategy, okay, there's an inverse play here to all of it, and put what you've got on this play. Over 7.5 punts, because if it's not field goals, interceptions, they're going to be punts all over the field tonight. So if you don't like that, play over 7.5 punts.
Joe said, what is a buffoonery circus? Are you not watching the show? Are you not watching the show? By the way, Mikey has to leave. He has to go do something. Mikey, we have a showdown. I'll take the plus 115. I'll do it on the money line. I don't need the points. Maestro wanted the points. He wanted +2. So let me know if you want that showdown at +2. I will take you at the money line. Whoever wins, that's who wins the showdown. All right, we got several to get to. By the way, other best bets from the crew. Maestro, he's on Gus Edwards over 44.5 rush yards. Zach Attack, who's been slaying these Thursday night props. He's on Mike Evans under 67.5. It's actually moving in our favor. It's now up to 70 in some places, 71 in some places. And then the speculator, Jason Spector, is on the Ravens plus the 2 as it's moved all the way, almost 4 points just today. Now, let's get to some props. You're killing me, AB. You're killing me. All right. I'm coming to you, Prop Stars, to start, because we had a question in the chat about Mark Andrews, and that's a great question because today a lot of the props didn't come up until late because we didn't know who was going to play, and Andrews is one of those guys. What do you think about him tonight?
Oh, no way. No way.
No way. Oh, you're on mute, big boy. You're on mute.
Sorry. As most of you guys know, I love me some Mark Andrews, one of my favorite tight ends and one of my favorite football players in the NFL. However, we're speculating a lot on his health. Tough to trust him, in my opinion. Also tough to fade him as well. We don't quite know what his exact status is physically, considering he didn't practice at all this week. But this guy is such a gamer. He is a wide receiver 1 that plays tight end. Most targeted player in the NFL, not just a tight end, of any player. So it's hard to fade him, in my opinion. To me, he's just a no play, just not knowing what percent he is physically. I have to imagine if he's out there, he's going to be somewhat healthy, but I'm just staying away after last week's goose egg that he put up. So to me, he's a stay away.
Sinful Saint said you'd think you would learn after the Twitter spaces. You have to unmute yourself. We can't do it for you, Prop Stars. Oh, that's a savage from Sinful Saint. He's like, what can I say? What can I say? What can I say? All right, see, let me come to you because we've talked a lot about Leonard Fournette and his passing props. But there's a question in the chat on his rushing prop. Over 50.5. I do not have the juice.
Yeah, I'm not really a big fan of that. I would go to the under there. So, I mean, I'm actually tempted to take the under there. Leonard Fournette has not been very efficient. Props and I were talking before the show. I mean, I think Prop Stars thinks Rachaad White might get a little bit more run than normal, and I certainly don't necessarily disagree with that, especially on the rushing attempt angle. So, yeah, I'm probably going to go under there on his 50.5.
Okay, very, very good. Now, let's go back to you, Prop Stars, because Gus Edwards, we know that the Maestro is on it. Now, you have in particular, been really good at targeting attempt props for rushing. Do you like the Gus Edwards? His number is over 10.5 tonight.
Yeah, I certainly like that quite a bit. I'm slightly concerned considering Gus Edwards made his season debut last week. I was expecting Baltimore to sort of ease him in right off the bat, got 16 carries, functioned as their lead back, and now we're playing on a short week. This guy didn't play a snap of football all last season, so hasn't had any contact for nearly 18 months. I'm just a little bit worried at how he's handles this, but clearly the Ravens had a ton of trust, a ton of confidence in him. Looked absolutely amazing last week. I like Larry's play over 44.5 rushing yards. This Tampa Bay run defense is not what it's been. They have been very vulnerable, very susceptible on the ground, which is a huge surprise to me, but they're just not getting it done. So I like Gus Edwards. I like his props quite a bit. I'd lean over on that as well as his rushing yards.
Okay, right back to Sia, right back to Fournette. His combo is 80.5 minus 110. What do you think, cousin Sia?
Yeah, I would just stick with the receiving yards, to be honest with you. I'm just not super excited about the rushing total, and therefore I think he's going to get a lot of his efficiency, a lot of his production in the passing game, especially considering all those passing attempts that are projected for Tom Brady and the manner in which he gets the ball out of his hands so fast.
All right, fair. AB, go.
Yeah, so I want to answer our man Karthik here. He's got a good question. AB, what do we like Tucker over 7.5 kicking points? So I want to address this really quickly because sometimes this is an excellent bet and sometimes it's a trap. And I think tonight is a trap. So understand the points. So if you're taking over 7.5 kicking points for Tucker, you essentially need 5 touchdowns and a field goal, okay, to get to 8, all right? You would also need 2 field goals and 4 touchdowns? Right, yeah. 2 field goals and 4 touchdowns to get over. I know counting's not my thing, but what I'm saying is this: is if you're not secure in 5 touchdowns tonight, he's going to need 2 field goals anyway to hit this thing. So just take the 2 field goals. So sometimes I know that it drops the juice, but you're adding so much risk. So be careful. Teams like the Chiefs, the Bills. It's a great bet because they score a ton. But tonight, yeah, it could be tough. So just something to think about in regards to it.
It's great advice. It's great advice. Nobody knows kickers and quarterbacks props better than you. Alex, let me come back to you because Mark says Godwin under 70.5. If you like Edmonds and where did he go? And Otten overs, do we like Godwin's under?
It's tough considering the target share that he's getting. 13 targets last week, 12 targets the week before. No Russell Gage tonight. Brady loves spamming his slot receiver. I expect Godwin to be working mostly over the middle of the field. So it's just tough to fade him, in my opinion, even at high numbers, considering he could very likely have 10-plus targets, especially in a competitive game environment. And with the amount that Brady throws the ball, I'm just not really comfortable fading him.
What about Julio at 30.5?
That I like a bit more just because of Julio's just not being probably the least trustworthy player as far as getting injured goes. Just haven't seen it. Obviously appears to be long past the great Julio Jones that he once was. It's a small number, but there is no Russell Gage. I definitely prefer under compared to over, but I'm staying away.
Is Julio playing tonight?
Yes.
Yeah, he's active.
Yeah.
The one thing I'll say that the Baltimore secondary is actually improving. Nonetheless, they haven't been good against slot receivers. So I do think if you were going to take an over on a receiving yard prop for the Tampa Bay Buccaneers, my choice actually would be Godwin because, I mean, for a couple of reasons in terms of what Tom Brady likes to target, like Alex was saying, but also because Baltimore hasn't been good against slot receivers. Again, they are improving in the secondary over the last few games. They've done better, but I think Godwin is, for me, the primary guy. He's a guy, for example, in my showdown lineups that I'm making sure is in my lineup.
Okay. Well, we're already on Mike Evans as far as Zach is concerned. And I really think that they're going to do their best, at least try the Ravens to double team him, because when you think about the Bucs, you think about Mike Evans. You think about that long pass that he dropped at the beginning of the game last week, and you got to believe they're going to try to do that at least 2 or 3 times tonight to get an easy touchdown, maybe, because they've struggled so much, 21 points in the last 2 weeks. So because of those points, let's talk about the total for a second. Then we'll get back to some props as well. The total is currently sitting at 46.5. Now, we saw the Saints and the Cardinals go into the 70s on Thursday night. AB, let me come to you. Do you like anything? And Baltimore, by the way, also a good first quarter team, and they're getting a half a point in the first quarter.
Yeah, Baltimore's a really good first quarter team, good first half team. Tampa Bay is god awful in the first quarter, in the first half of games. I mean, not just last week with scoring 0, but they have been awful in the first quarter week after week after week. So if you're going to play anything, play the Ravens because they're extremely consistent. And again, when you've got a field goal kicker like Tucker, you're playing 60 yards of the field, right? Like, I mean, you could cut this thing down and add points very quickly. especially with Lamar Jackson running on the ground. Yeah, for sure. I like the Ravens there.
Okay, let me come back to you, Sia, because I don't, and then I'll come to you, Alex. I don't know if you said it because I'm always reading, but there a question on the catches for Godwin, not the yards, but it's hefty. It's 6.5, and Alex just talked about how many targets he has been getting.
Yeah, I don't think I'm interested in the 6.5. I'd actually rather take the yardage on Godwin because I do think he's going to get a couple of receptions that get to, that 15 to 20 yard mark, if not potentially more. So 6.5 it's a pretty big number. I'm not super uncomfortable with it, but I would rather take the yards with Godwin.
Okay. Yeah. AB, go ahead.
Can I pose a question to you guys really quick?
Of course.
DraftKings has, I believe it's DraftKings, plus 150. Both teams score at least one touchdown in each half. What do you think?
I don't like it.
No?
I don't like it. Just based off what the Bucs have done the last 2 weeks.
Yep.
18-3. That was it. See it, Alex? Either one?
I mean, they each have to score a touchdown in each half, is what you're saying.
Yep.
Yeah, I don't think I like it either. Go ahead, Alex. Sorry.
No, I was just going to agree. I just think it's tough, especially the Bucs seem to be perennial slow starters, and then the Ravens kind of let their foot off the gas in the second half. So just, I personally stay away.
I will say, Alan, to your point, the total is ticking up a little bit. As me and McClure do the Fantasy Football Today DFS show, and we actually just wrapped on that. And I noticed just, when I do my process, like that total has ticked up like a point and a half. So there is some money clearly coming in on the over, which lends itself obviously to not just more field goals to your kicker props, but to touchdowns potentially as well.
Yeah, that's kind of how I do my process too, Sia. Same type of situation as what you do. Same process. I would hate to see AB's process, though, to be honest with you. I'd hate to see that.
Dude, I'll turn this thing around, and there's just writing on the wall.
We haven't even talked quarterbacks other than my best bet on the rushing prop. So, Alex, let me come to you because we know that fans love to bet on quarterbacks. They just do. So let's start with Lamar. His passing number is 210.5, and I learned my lesson with Sia on Justin Fields. Over 29.5 attempts, over 19.5 completions, over 1.5 touchdowns at plus 119. Anything there that we can sink our teeth into?
To me, Baltimore, especially Lamar's props, his passing props, are contingent on Mark Andrews' health. As I mentioned, he functioned as their wide receiver one despite playing the tight end position. He's the most targeted player in the NFL, not just a tight end at any position. So not knowing exactly how healthy he is, to me, just kind of is going to dictate how much Lamar is going to throw the ball. Furthermore, the Ravens appear to be kind of wanting to run the football. They've been really effective, especially with Gus Edwards returning to the lineup. They have a couple other backs. They mix in, obviously, in Kenyon Drake, Justice Hill as well. Plus, we know Lamar can run the ball. Furthermore, this Bucs defense has not been good on the ground. So I definitely think Baltimore, not knowing exactly how healthy Mark Andrews and Rashad Bateman are going to lean heavily on the ground game. So for me, Lamar's passing props are a stay away just because I do think they're going to place a very strong emphasis on running the ball. I think they'll be pretty effective too.
Isn't it amazing when our labs come together, Alex? That's the whole reason I played Lamar Jackson and his 61 rushing. Is that exactly what you said? Maybe not as intricate, but exactly what you said. AB, go, then I'm coming to you, Sia.
Yeah, so Tampa's got to make a little bit of a decision tonight, right? Because you look at Lamar Jackson, are you going to bring pressure with no secondary, everybody like banged up, injured out? Are you going to bring pressure or are you going to sit back, right? Like I think that there's going to be a chess match in between here, and watch Baltimore's first drive in regards to how they go about doing that, because I think that they're going to play with them a little bit. They're going to run, pass, and just to see and force Tampa to make a decision. And once they do, that's when the chess match starts. So I'm fascinated to see how aggressive Tampa's defensive line and linebackers are in bringing pressure tonight.
All right. Alex, can we come back to you, and then I'll go to Sia. What do you got, Alex?
Yeah, real quick, I just wanted to bring up Rashad Bateman. I know I touched on him very briefly. I do like Rashad Bateman tonight. I do think he probably is a bit healthier than Mark Andrews. I don't think he was planning to practice much this week. He has very big play potential as well. He only needs 1 or 2 receptions, as we've seen with his A-dot, to go over this 45.5 receiving line. The Bucs are also without their top 2 corners, in addition to the great safety, Antoine Winfield Jr. So I do like Rashad Bateman a bit tonight, and I would look at his longest reception prop would probably be how I would attack it. I also would lean over on 45.5 receiving yards as well. So he's my favorite pass catcher as far as Baltimore skill position players go.
And his longest, that would be...
It's 19.5.
Thank you, Sia. 19.5. By the way, real quick, everybody look at your watch. What time is it? 3 till the top of the hour? What do we normally do at the top of the hour? But yet there's over 1,000 people watching. We have a huge audience tonight. And we can't get to 500 likes to get the goose? Are you kidding me? The goose?
We need 150 right now. We need 150. Just smash it real quick, everybody. Don't have to worry about it ever again tonight.
Let's go. All right. Now, the one thing we haven't hit on, and they asked in the chat, how do we feel about the Ravens now at +2? So, see, I'm coming to you, but I'd love to get everybody's take on this. Obviously, I love the Ravens, and I feel like, having watched 7 weeks of football, that you can't just flip a switch. And even the 3 games that the Bucs have won, it's been a struggle. They just don't have any chemistry. And I have no idea why the line has gone from -2 to +2. But I'll take the 2 points. But do you like the Ravens at +2, or do we feel like we're missing something?
Well, we're missing something potentially, but it's impossible to know what it is because, and this is something Mike and I were actually talking about on our show earlier today, this line probably shifted. According to Mike, I think he thinks it shifted from Ravens being favored by 1.5 to now being 2-point dogs. I think it might be because of Mark Andrews. Now, while he is active, I think there might be some stuff going on here where people just know he's not supremely healthy, and that might be affecting this line because let's not forget, without Mark Andrews, we don't really have any pass catchers. I love the Rashad Bateman play, by the way, and I love what Alan Bell. I called you Alan Bell because I remember that motion to reconsider we talked about last show. It's the honorable Alan Bell. So now that's how I think of you, honorable. So the point is, I like the Bateman play, and I like the Bateman play because I think Mark Andrews might get phased out, and I think to Alan's point, I think Tampa is going to bring a lot of pressure because Lamar has been really bad against pressure, not just last game, but basically the last 4 games. He's been really bad against the blitz, whereas the first 3 games, he was really good against it. With all of that said, I do think that presents opportunities for Bateman, for Duvernay, if Deshaun Jackson, I think he's active. No, he might not be active, but some of these other receivers. And if Mark Andrews is marginalized because of his injury, it does lend itself to Lamar having to maybe chuck it and hit guys like Bateman.
Bateman right now is at 47.5. It is juiced to the under still, so you might be able to get some good value if you decide to jump on that. Joe in the chat clearly is new to the show. He says, you keep talking about this goose, but what is it? Alex, please.
It's a same game parlay. If you have DraftKings or FanDuel, you can tail this usually somewhere between +400 and +1,200 odds.
And if you think we don't hit them, and we also have a donkey when Mikey is here. He's off tonight. He's on assignment. We have 2, and we hit them often. And they're a lot of fun because a dirty little secret, Joe, sports betting can be fun. You're allowed. You're allowed to have a good time. You can. Don't tell anybody, though. Don't tell some of those shows. But you're allowed to have a good time. All right. Now, as expected, it took us that long to get over 500. Why do I have to yell at you people? Why do I have to yell at you? I don't like doing it. Yes,
May I interrupt real quick?
Of course.
All right, first off, it's been a while since I've interrupted your flow, so I wanted to do it, but politely and respectfully.
Okay.
All right, so our man Joe is new here, and you know what, Joe? We are so glad to have you tonight and everybody else that is new. So I'm going to put this up. If the goose hits tonight, Joe Doe, I will Venmo you $100.
Oh,
there you go. If it hits tonight, my man, I got you. I'll get with you after the show. Venmo, Twitter, we'll work all that out. There you go. Welcome.
See, Joe?
We're glad to have you.
That's what we do here at the Early Edge. We welcome you. We don't talk down to you. We value you. And you can make $100 just for writing what you did in the chat. But the goose has got to hit. The goose. We don't just give it away. We don't say, oh, the goose didn't hit. Here you go. No. We're not that kind of a show. You have to earn it. Earn it. Now, we are across the top of the hour, so time is of the essence. So here's what we're going to do. Welcome into everybody coming in at the top of the hour. A lot of you dump in at 8 o'clock Eastern time. Welcome to the Early Edge on YouTube, Apple, Spotify. We have people that said they always listen on Spotify, and now they're checking us out on YouTube. So thank you very much. We're going to do Goose first, then we'll do the gym, and Joe, I will explain that as well, and then we'll recap all of our best bets and get the hell out of Dodge and enjoy the game together. And we will all meet tonight around 11:30 at the pay window. So, AB, is the goose ready to go?
The goose is ready for all. Here we go.
Let's do it. Alex, you're up.
Yep. So we've got the Ravens to score over 14 points. Tampa Bay Bucks to score under 35 points. Mark Andrews to have at least 35 receiving yards. Our guy, Cade Otton, to go for 20-plus receiving yards. And a Lamar Jackson anytime touchdown. Put that all together, plus 550 odds.
And when was the last time that we hit the goose?
I believe 3 games ago, Coach. 3 primetime games ago.
Which was just last week. Just last week. That's what it was. These are fun. They hit a lot. When Mikey's here, his donkey hits a lot. Did I miss something, though, at the end of the goose?
A Lamar touchdown? Anytime touchdown?
No, I was waiting for some music, AB. What are we doing here? What are we doing here? What are we doing here?
The problem is doesn't have the same effect as the showdown.
I love doing this so much. All right, so that's the goose. Leave it up there for a second. Let everybody just soak it in. Let it soak it in. All right, now it's time for the gem. And with Mikey not here, in the gem, for those of you who are brand new, we like to pick, and again, it's another fun bet that we like to do, guessing the first touchdown score of the game. It's got to be plus 1,000 or higher because it would be too easy to just use Jamar Chase. By the way, breaking news about 46 weeks. So it's got to be plus 1,000 or higher. You got to bring receipts. Put it into the chat if you want to play, and then you can get into the club and hang out with those that are already in it, which I am not. I'm outside kicking it with AB. Now, there's one man that's on the screen right now that is in the club this year. It drives me insane every time. Since Mikey's not here, Alex, you get to go first.
Thank you so much, Coach. I appreciate that greatly. That's why we're going to go with Lamar Jackson. Plus 1,100. This guy has 23 career touchdowns. Coach is on his rushing prop. I think he's going to have to rely on his legs quite a bit. Short week for Gus Edwards. Let's go Lamar Jackson, anytime touchdown. You can get this at plus 11 or 1,200 on DraftKings as well.
Okay. Teresa in the chat says, Coach, do you or any other cappers get kickbacks from sportsbooks? Alex?
I wish.
See you?
Me too. No, I also wish.
They hate me. The last thing they want to do is pay me. They ban me every single book. So
we are not like other places. We are not like other places. We do it right.
My job is to beat those books.
You're damn right it is. Damn right it is. All right. I would love to be able to go next, but that's not how the game is played. So, Sia, you've earned it historically. You're up.
I have. And by the way, I saw in the comments, a gentleman by the name of Trent Wade said, Joe thinks Sia is a lawyer. Insane. I am a lawyer, Trent. Just FYI. Licensed. Didn't use the Institute for 2 on-bar exams. Don't worry about it.
He's my lawyer.
That's true. Been retained. It's interesting with this game because especially when it comes to like guys like Lamar Jackson, Rashad Bateman. Remember like 4 weeks ago when we were talking about today's price isn't yesterday's price because Lamar was going off. That was sort of the tagline. Well, today's price isn't very good for Lamar Jackson, and it's really, especially with likely pressure coming, to Alan's point, it's really time for him to prove himself with his legs, but also with his arm. Rashad Bateman appears to be healthy. We'll see about Mark Andrews, but I think with this pressure, we're going to see Lamar Jackson prove himself with his arm early as opposed to late. And what does that mean? That means single coverage likely with Rashad Bateman because of blitzes coming. He can get deep, he can get long, he can get in the end zone. The Golden Gopher is going to get me back to my golden throne in the club. 3-time champ last year, but I need to be a 1-time champ before I'm a 3-time champ. It starts tonight at plus 1,300.
Can you please not talk about your golden throne on the show, please? This is a kids show. Okay,
it's an actual throne, Coach. It's not a play on words.
By the way, I'm not opposed to being endorsed by a sports book. My man Dylan says I work for Caesars. I love these guys. Dylan, call me. All right, now, AB, since you and I are both outside and the rain's drizzling on our heads and we're trying to talk to the bouncer, say, come on, let us slide in. And they're saying, no. Who gets to go first, you or me?
Coach, you go first. You've earned it.
All right, so I want to pay respects to the maestro, who clearly tried to get on the show about 30 minutes ago on CBS Sports HQ, and he loves Gus Edwards tonight. He loves him. I love him to score the first touchdown of the game. Now, this is very prop star-esque because it's barely over plus 1,000, but I have receipts. So I'm going to take Gus Edwards plus 1,100. And I don't want to hear one.
I'm going to need to see that ticket for sure. I'm going to need to see that ticket.
I love Props calling that out. He's the one calling that out.
For sure.
What?
I'm going to need to see that one for sure, fellas.
AB, while I'm looking it up. Go ahead.
All right, yes. And since I do have the great Mr. Najad on a retainer here, cover me because we're going to get a little serious. Tom Brady has lost faith in all of his teammates, his coaches, his family. The man has nothing left. In fact, if anyone saw during the week press conferences after practice, he's now cutting his sleeves off his hoodie, dressing like Belichick. I swear to you, the man is turning into him. That's why tonight we're going Tom Brady plus 5,500. They're going to get the ball down around the 1 yard line. He's going to look around, does what he does, and say, I don't trust any of you losers. I'm taking the ball in myself. I invented the quarterback sneak. Brady takes it in tonight plus 5,500.
Motion granted.
Boom.
You're back, Coach.
We're back. Oh, you guys freeze, or it all froze, right? Okay, I thought I was the only one. I was like, oh my God.
Well, I'll tell you what, it froze like the Ravens defense tonight when Tom Brady takes it right up the middle.
That was hilarious. I was like, am I the only one? Am I the only one? Am I the only one? All right, we are about 8 minutes past the hour, so we got to do our best bets and get the hell out of Dodge. So put up the best bets, AB, and let's go around the horn about 15, 20 seconds on each one, please. Alex, go.
Cade Otton over 30 and a half receiving yards. Been very encouraged by this young rookie tight end making his third start tonight. In his previous 2 starts, he eclipsed this number easily. Also, the Ravens are a very friendly matchup on paper. They give up a lot of production to opposing tight ends. That's why I love Cade Otton over 30 and a half receiving yards. I'd play it up to about 33 or 34 and a half.
I think Jeffrey's calling you a fraud, Alex, because he says Cade Otton first touchdown is plus 1,700. Why didn't you go with him if you loved him so much?
I love him between the 20s, Coach. Just, the end zone's a little different.
That's fair. See ya. What do you like tonight?
Yeah, we have Brady pass attempts at 38.5. It's juiced to the over. And I think he's going to go to the guys that he trusts. It's a lot of pass attempts. Leonard Fournette has eclipsed 27.5 receiving yards in 4 out of the last 5 games. And usually when he does it by a lot. 38, 83, 57, 35 over the last 4 where he has eclipsed that number. Last week, it wasn't so good. But I do like Leonard Fournette to get a bunch of catches in this game and to eclipse 27.5 receiving yards.
Okay. The Maestro is also on Gus Edwards over 44.5 rush yards. I'm on Lamar Jackson over 61 rushing yards at minus 125. Mike Evans under 67.5 receiving yards for Zach Attack. And then the speculator is on the Ravens plus 2. By the way, you're not going to call me out in the chat. When I put this in, it might be plus 950 now. It was plus 1,100. I'm going to stand by that because I do not cheat in this game. Do not call me out anymore. It was plus 11 when I put it in an hour ago. It's moved down a little bit, but it's still there. All right, AB, what do you like tonight?
Yes, sir. All right, first off, I need to bring the screen over here because, 1, I do not believe that Cade Otton is a real human being. I refuse to believe that. That name is not real whatsoever. But number 2, Coach, I need you, Props, and Sia to rule on something real quick.
Okay.
All right?
Oh, on the
yes.
Well, the last time this happened, you had to teach him a lesson. And Kyle, if you want the smoke, here are the rules. You got to pay by midnight. It's $100, and it's you and AB. So, Kyle, if you're down for that, just write "I'm in" the chat. And well, AB, are you in? I guess I should have asked you.
Oh, you know I'm in. Absolutely.
All right, yeah. Kyle, if you want the smoke, right? I'm in. Oh, I think we need to hit some music for 3 showdowns tonight. Let's go.
Oh, man. Kyle, I just don't.
It's going to be a showdown.
I love that. All right, Kyle.
Kyle, drop your Twitter handle in the chat so we can talk during the game. And we'll figure all that out afterward. But, yeah, absolutely. Showdown there. So, all right. Easy. Back to the picks real quick. Sorry, I interrupted everyone's flow there. Both quarterbacks over half an interception. Both field goal kickers over 1.5 field goals. There you go.
All right. By the way, I may have to send Alexander $100. He's got my back. Gus Edwards is plus 1,000 on FanDuel, Alex.
There you go.
So you can shove it where calling me out. Calling me out. All right. I think that's all the best bets. Let's do the goose one more time, and then we will finish the show. Alex, take us through it.
Sure. First up, we've got Baltimore to score over 14 points, the Bucs to score under 35 points, Mark Andrews to have at least 35 receiving yards, our guy, the man of the hour, Cade Otton, AB's favorite football player, over 20 receiving yards, and a Lamar Jackson anytime touchdown. Put that all together, plus 550 for the goose.
All right. Also, the donkey, if you're a SportsLine member, you can get it earlier in the day from M Squared. AB, how do they find that?
Absolutely. So when you go to analysis on sportsline.com, you could search through NFL, or you could just search through Mike McClure, and you will find it posted right there in an article ready to go for you.
Boom. It is that easy. And before you ask, it's only $10 a month. That's it. There's no tricks. There's no scams. There's no, you got to buy something after you get in there. No, we believe in big communities of good people, not gouging you for $1,000 and then you make your picks. That's what we do here at SportsLine. Now, I like to end every single one of our shows asking my experts exactly the number one most important thing they're looking forward to. Why do we do that? So you can take that information and use it for yourself either tonight or into the future. Alex, start us off.
Coach, I'm looking forward to seeing how this Tampa Bay team responds. To me, this game, their season's on the line. I think this game is ultimately going to decide whether or not they're a team that can contend for a playoff spot, or this could potentially be the first losing season for Tom Brady and maybe signal the end of his career. So very excited to see this matchup.
I would love to see tonight be the rock bottom. I don't know how you get more rock bottom than last week, but I'd love to see it. AB, go.
Yeah, I think that's the topic. I think that's what we're all looking for. Are the Bucs going to bounce back, or are they dead? Because if they get blown out tonight, wrap it up. It's over. I know that the division is winnable, even with a loss. Wrap it up. They'll be finished. So I think that's the biggest question. What do they look like tonight?
Yeah, 3-4. They're still tied for first place in their division. They're one of the lucky ones. See ya. Talk to me.
Yeah, it's the same theme. I mean, Tom Brady's been unbelievable for 2 decades. Are we witnessing finally, after we thought we witnessed it maybe 7 years ago or 5 years ago or 2 years ago, are we finally witnessing sort of Tom Brady on his way out finally? If so, then I get it. But, you know, it's a bad look right now, and it's just a matter of, can he do it? Can he do it again?
Can he do it again? Can he dig deep and get his teammates to raise the level of their play? The problem is when you're older, it's a lot harder. When your teammates are older, it's a lot harder. So we'll see. But I believe the Ravens roll tonight. And maybe, no, for the first time ever, your boy could beat Mikey, the great M Squared, in a showdown. God, I want this so bad. All right, it's time for us to go have some fun. Stay interactive on Twitter. Pick each other up. Push yourselves forward. Be kind to one another, okay? And with that being said, there's only one thing left to do, and I believe you all know what that is. You've got your marching orders. Let's take all of these Thursday night tickets straight to the pay window. For my entire crew, love them all. See you, John. Prop stars, AB on the ones and the twos, and our resident quarterback whisperer and field goal kicker whisperer. I am the coach. Tell all your friends. We want you here. If you want to be educated, entertained, have some fun, and meet at the pay window, there's only one place you need to be, right here at the Early Edge. Good luck.